Welcome to another weekly market report with Kristen Mason Coreas, owner of the Homes by Mason team. Today we are looking at data from the larger DC metro area as of Sunday, March 9th. I don't love that the data is lagging a little bit. By the time you hear this information, it's a week old. And it's unfortunately the best information that I have at the time to give you. At Homes by Mason, we actually do run hyper-local data week over week. And so that's the most current data that I run, but I can't run it early because then when we compare year over year, we won't have full data to look at for you. But if you want the most current data, come check me out on Mondays on YouTube or Facebook at my Homes by Mason page. And I do a larger market report. And at the end, I share with you the data from the hyperlocal area of Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax, specifically up to, we run it from Monday of this week until Sunday. So it's super current information, and I have a little bit of that to share with you today. So that said, let's dive in first to this data from the larger DC metro area. So what this is showing us is that showings are down from last year by 11.2%, but up from last week. So up from last week makes sense. This time of year, normally buyer activity is increasing. We tend to have more buyers coming out and just a lot more activity. We're headed into the spring season. That tends to be the peak of our season. So week over week, this time of year, we would normally see everything going up, which, except for time to market, which is going down, so that tracks. However, median list price is down week over week. That is a bit unusual. Now, that said, what is happening in our environment here in the DC metro area may be impacting our market. And so our market may look different this year than in other years. So that's why showings are perhaps down year over year because of uncertainty in our economic climate, in the jobs that a lot of people have in our area. There may be less buyer activity out there. Purchase contracts are also down year over year by 6% in our area, but up week over week. Time to contract, how long it takes for a home to go on the market and then under contract, longer by 2 days from last year, but shorter by a day from last week. New listing inventory is up 20% from last year and up 10% from last week. That's not really of concern to me. Active listings also up a pretty big number, almost 33% from last year, and up a touch, 6.6% from last week. Increasing inventory doesn't really worry me because we haven't had enough inventory in our area for a really long time. If we combine increasing inventory with decreasing buyer activity, that's when I start to get concerned, and that's when prices may go down. The fact that price has gone down here week over week may be a result of less buyer activity. It's hard to say it's a trend until we see it week after week after week after week. That's when we can say it's a trend. Right now it's a blip. So that's why I keep watching it week after week to see if we do have trends. So year over year, we're up in median price by 1.6%, but again, down week over week. So the weekly data that I have it on a little sticky note here that I'm going to look at because I don't have a pretty chart to share with you here. I do have one again on Mondays. You can take a look at it. But the data that I want to share with you from the hyper-local market today is that in that area of Arlington, Alexandria, Fairfax, and Falls Church specifically, where we at Homes by Mason do most of our business, there was a red flag in that data 2 weeks in a row. What we saw was that contracts were down year over year by 53% 2 weeks ago. And last week, contracts increased week over week, but they were down 56% from the year before. That's a red flag for me. Those are big numbers in terms of decrease in contracts year over year, which I think is a reflection of the economic environment we are currently in, the uncertain environment that we are in currently. So I did peek at the data for this past week. Now remember, this is not complete data. I don't have a full week to look at, but I wanted to see so far, how do we look this week compared to last week and last year? So slightly good news, compared to last week, we already have beat our contract numbers already. And it's only Thursday when I record this. So this week, we're already up 30% week over week in terms of contracts, and the week is not done. Now, compared to last year, we're currently down only 42%. And again, the week's not over. So that number will hopefully increase. So again, a red flag in terms of 2 weeks being more than 50% down in contracts, but this week will not be 50%. It'll be less than 40% or better compared to last year. So therefore, it's not, again, necessarily a trend. Maybe it was just a blip. However, again, hard to imagine that everything going on in the federal government will not have a significant impact in our market. So keep coming back or call me anytime you want to talk with me about what is happening in the market. I watch this stuff regularly. I want to keep up to date with what's going on so that I can serve my clients at a high level. And I want you all to be informed about what's going on so that you can make good decisions for yourself in regards to what's happening in the market. Make informed decisions rather than just emotional decisions or based upon maybe misinformation that might be out there. Give me a call anytime you want the real information. 571-210-1866 is my number. Down below in the email or in YouTube, if you're watching it there, there'll be a link if you want to schedule a time to meet with me, or text me at that same number, or email me, Kristen@homesbymason.com. Thanks for watching, and next week I will not be here. I'll be on vacation next week, so you won't get a weekly market report next week, but I'll be back the week after that. So in 2 Fridays, you'll definitely get another weekly market report from me. I will be here on Monday, and then I'll be off for a Monday. But in any case, reach out anytime if you want the data, if you can't find it on your own. Thanks and have a great weekend.